I think that's why.
Imagining doing that 8 times a week.
Insane.
Like I can't. So just from a musical standpoint, some of the would have to be rewritten.
Some of that most of that I'm hitting high G's up there. I'm like, hell no, I don't want to sing more than anything 8 times a week. It's way too high.
And then I don't know how I would turn into a demon on stage.
Team at this point for Hazbin especially and Helluva as well is the team of Sam Haft and Andrew Edberg. And they are amazing. I've gotten into a groove with them where, I'll brief them on the song. They kind of just go off and then they give me kind of like a very, very completed demo. It's a very listenable song. It's got rough instrumental. It's got Sam usually performing, a little bit of Andrew here and there. And so it's a very realized song. And so then it turns into like a notes process. Like, every so often there's a song that just like knock out of the park and I'm like, that's it. That's the song. Most of the time though, there's lyrical changes. There's lore things or just an awkward combination of words that I'm kind of like, I feel like maybe we could smooth that part out sort of thing. But for the most part, it's, they kind of turn around this fully realized song. And if it's not quite the vibe, I'll note that. Sometimes I'll note structure. I'm like, can this part build or can the bridge kind of sound a little different or things like that. So I'm very hands-on with the process, but obviously they're the ones who actually facilitate it. They're the ones that do the magic of making a song. Like I don't know the first thing about that. So they are a great team to work with, and every songwriter is different, but that's usually the process is they give a demo in that I listen to and then give notes on.
Hi Vivienne.
Hi.
Well, you have recently told us about Patrick from Fall Out Boy being the new voice for Hazbin Hotel.
Yes.
So how did you know that he was the perfect option to play Abel?
Well, I think the number one reason was because I was already familiar with him doing voice work. So I knew he was a voice actor. I knew he could do it as far as ability. Because sometimes people are singers but not actors. I feel like he's really good at both. And so that was first thing. But the other thing was just he's such an iconic voice, and he's such an iconic voice in the world of bands and rock. And so it made sense to go out to someone like him who had animation experience, but also experience being a real life rock star. So I think it's really, really cool. And it's fun because he plays a character I feel so different from his usual style of music and everything. So he's such a innocent, silly little guy character. So I'm very excited for everyone to meet him.
Thank you very much.
Hello, I'm Russ Milheim from the Direct. Everyone obviously loves the show, but what would Hazbin Hotel look like in a Broadway? Is that even possible?
Oh.
Can that happen one day?
I would love for it to happen one day. I definitely have ideas because Broadway is obviously a very different world, and so there's a practicality side and then there's also the creative side. But there's so many possibilities and there's so much interest that I would love to make that happen one day. And I'd be lying if I said there wasn't at least some conversations about it.
You have a lot of Broadway actors too, so you're halfway there.
Exactly, yeah. No, there's already so many people I know in this world, so I've learned more about what kind of goes into making a Broadway show, and obviously, but some of the people I've met and talked to are people who've made them happen. So, anything's possible.
That'd be exciting.
Nancy from Latino Review Media.
Hi.
Hi, well, congratulations with your series. And, I enjoy the fact that there are some Spanish thrown in there, or at least with accents.
Absolutely, yeah. Well, it's being, so I'm actually Salvadoran on my dad's side, so it matters to me a lot to have a lot of Latin representation in the show. And so there's a good number. Right now we have, in canonical Latin characters, we have Joel as Valentino, we have Stephanie Beatrice as Vaggie, Daphne Rubin Vega as Carmilla, and there's going to be more as the show goes on. And then Helluva Boss, we have some as well. So I love it. It's a culture I know and a culture I really want to represent more. And I really love working with talent from. Oh yeah, and Christina Alabato as well, who plays our Australian.
There's really, when you were developing Hazbin Hotel, you had sort of stopped doing the webcomic because of inspiration, but then quickly came Helluva Boss. Were you developing these at the same time, in a sense?
Yeah, Hazbin was one that branched off of the things I was already making as like a college student, like Zoophobia and things like that. And then Helluva Boss branched off of that. So I feel like a lot of my best ideas branch off of other ideas that are already established, and then I'm kind of thinking about the world and coming up with new ideas and new stories, and then I find, oh, there's a really interesting character here, but they might not get to shine in this show. But maybe they deserve to have their own show. And that's kind of where Helluva Boss came from. And I'm continuing.
More branching off? Like
I would love to
get your own show.
I would love to. I have ideas for even more potential spin-offs or world builds. So I guess it's just up to A24 and Amazon if those happen. So we'll see.
Well, another thing I would like to know is about the fandom. We know that the Hellaverse has a very massive online fandom. So I would like to know if their feedback has actually influenced the direction of the series.
That's a good question. So yes and no. I think no as far as influencing the story and the characters, because we actually write so far ahead that the feedback we get really we can't act on it. Like if people have feedback on the story and the tone or anything like that, or we can't, there's nothing we can do. The story is already predestined. I know exactly where it ends. We've actually mapped out both seasons 3 and 4. We're halfway through production of season 3. So like this current moment, you know, like we are so far ahead that like we wrote these scripts well before people had even finished watching season 2. So, you know, we definitely can't do anything about that. And even if we could, I would not. Because I just don't, I believe in sticking to the story that you're telling. And so the only thing that the audience reaction does influence is kind of just more tone or comedy stuff, like more like, oh, you know, this kind of joke doesn't really work with this audience very well, or, you know, we still try to experiment. We ultimately want to make things that make us laugh and that we like, but, you know, we're paying more attention to, like, the kinds of things that resonate, and so we're like, and the other thing is just the attention to detail. We're like, oh, okay, we see how much people notice, and it makes us rethink how we write in the sense of, oh, people are going to notice if we do that, so we have to be much more intentioned. So as we wrote the show, I think each script got more intentional, because we either trusted our audience to catch these things that we're putting in, or we were like, oh, they might not catch this sort of thing, so let's make it really overt. So that's the kind of thing that the audience did influence us on, because we were like, okay, we're kind of getting a sense of how people watch the show, so maybe we can kind of factor that in when we're writing.
Thank you.
Now, yeah, be a little greedy here. I know we got a lot of release date updates just now. But, you know, what's the update on Helluva Boss season 3? Is that something like probably next year and definitely not this year?
Definitely not this year. I can say that safely. I think just because it's a very big season, and this is actually something that even if Amazon hadn't come into the picture, we were already planning, which is just completing more of the show before we release anything, just because we feel like the show deserves to be watched a little bit more the way we're writing it, which is meant to be watched back to back to back. Whether or not it'll be released back to back to back, I don't have the answer and I can't say, but I did want us to complete more of the season, if not the whole season, before we get it out. So it's definitely going to be a longer wait than anyone's ever had to have for the show. That said, though, I think it's really going to beat the 3 to 4 months between individual episodes that people were getting before. I feel like having to wait a much longer time but getting everything much more together is going to ultimately be better for the show and better for the audience. So, but yeah, I can't unfortunately give an update on that, but we are very far into production and it's looking amazing. So I can hype it up.
I think we have time for one more question.
Okay.
So what can you say about Lilith for the new season?
Ooh. For the new season, I can say that we do a lot of building her up, which is really exciting. But it might be still a minute until we see her. But there is a lot of her coming up in the show because obviously we've been greenlit through season 4. So all I can say is that she has some big stuff coming down the line.
Do you have a musical background yourself? Like, do you sing?
Huh?
Do you sing yourself?
Do I sing? I do, I guess, in a hobby sense. I do for fun. I don't know if I could call myself a professional singer.
Hear you on it?
In the background of some stuff, yeah, here and there. I'm actually one of the cherubs, so you have heard me sing in the show so far.
Okay. Awesome.
Yeah, I'm the yellow one.
Go ahead.
Awesome. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Of course, thank you guys.
Find their voice. Did you guys do any process to discover your character's voices? And what was your process?
No, I had it on day one.
What kept you like that?
Well, no, I mean it's kind of a stock character, that sort of old-timey radio guy. I think most sort of male improvisers of a certain age just have that sort of locked in. I happen to have that in combination with whatever sort of makes my own voice kind of special. And then in the scenes, there are moments where you sort of break away at that and maybe get a little unhinged, maybe get a little angry, maybe get a little psychotic. But at its base level, it's a pretty simple voice. It just happens to go along with whatever else I have going on.
I feel like Charlie's voice is pretty similar to mine. The one thing we were actually just talking about this, the one thing that I will say is like I do think I warmed up into it. Like our first time recording for Charlie was episode 1, and there's like this huge monologue that opens the series, and I hear that monologue and I'm like, oh, I don't think I had like really found it yet. And then as soon as I sang, like for me, the way into a character, which is not surprising because I like grew up doing musicals, is the way they sing. Like my voice changes based on how they sound when they sing. And Sam and Andrew wrote Happy Day in Hell, and that was the first thing I sang. And as soon as we sang that song, I was like, oh, I get what she sounds like. I get what her inflections are, because it was all part of the music. So like when we record, they're like, do you want to start with the song or do you want to start with the scenes? And I always start with the songs because they just like place me where she lives. And it's really like if I'm playing a character, for example, right now I'm playing a character who's very different than Charlie doing a Broadway show, and like it's a really weird dissonance because she sings so differently and she makes my voice sound different, and then I go into the booth for Charlie and I'm like, oh, I really have to shift gears because I've been doing 8 shows a week with this vocal quality, and that's not what Charlie is. Yeah.
And for the new episodes, were there any specific scene like the monologue, so that you saw it as very challenging for you?
The monologue was challenging. I feel like usually what's challenging for me is any time where she's really excited, because it's like just so fast and so many words, and like we'll do like 5 takes of like a big chunk of dialogue, and by the end I'm like, oh my god, I'm gonna pass out. But it's not like hard. Like at the end of the day, like the job is not, I don't want to say that it's not necessary to have skill to do, but like it is just really fun. So when I think that's hard, I'm like, physically it might be hard because it's just a long thing to get through, but for the most part I never leave a session being like, oh my god, like that, like it's just, we were playing make-believe.
Yeah, like
right?
generally sessions are they're more like marathons than they are sprints, and that's what's hard, right? Like, is it hard to run from here to there? No. Is it hard to run from here to all the way over there? Yes. That's what's challenging about it. Is doing 2 lines is easy. Doing 2 lines 100 times is hard.
Yeah.
And it felt something different from the first season to the second season, in terms of, I don't know, the fandom, because it grew so much.
Well, one thing that I noticed that I started doing in records was like we started to understand what fans liked and what they responded to. And so sometimes like I would definitely make choices or improvs that I'm like, I don't know if it'll make the cut, but I'm like, this is fully for the fan. Like if it makes the cut, it is for the fan because I understand that they love when Charlie does X, or like they enjoy when she gets a little button at the end of the scene that wasn't there. Like, we have no control over those if those end up in the final cut, but I started to get more comfortable being like, well, I know what they would like, so let me just like say that, and you can decide if you want to use it. But for the most part, that was like really the only thing that changed between 1 and 2 for me.
Yeah, well, I have the exact same answer as that. And you know, like when we sign autographs at conventions and stuff, the fans tell us what line they want written on the thing, and so it's really instructive to be like, oh, that's a specific line that really resonates for people.
Yeah.
And so you start to understand like the parts of your character that people are like locking in on. So that was a thing for sure. I also like having listened to season 1 and seeing the risks that some of the actors took with their voices. I went like, oh, I have even more room than I thought. And so I think I took more risks in season 2.
Well, talk to you were saying about improv little lines here and there. Are you allowed? Because you're both amazing singers, of course. I'm a recovering musical theater actor, so I'm always curious about the music and the singers myself. So, are you allowed like vocal flourishes? So you know, just got to do your own thing, and like, what's your range?
We are allowed,
Okay.
but I certainly I'm not like a pop singer. Like I'm like very like I sing the notes on the page. So like I even just had to record something that was a little more poppy, and Sam Haft was like, "What if you did it like?" And I was like, "I'm gonna need you to write out what notes those are on the staff." But I think the people who are comfortable. For example, I think Jessica Vosk, who plays Lute, I think if she's given something, she'll do a take, and then she'll be like, all right, I'm going to like do my own thing for a second.
Yeah, but I bet you, I mean, I do this, and so I'm sure you do this, sometimes back phrase something, sometimes front phrase.
Yeah, like
right?
the story, the nice thing is that the story always takes precedence. So like, one time I re-recorded a song because Viv was like, I don't know. She was like, it's a little too like sweet. Like it sounds too sweet, and that's not really what happened in the scene before. And I was like, oh my God, and like we re-recorded the song because she was like, I actually just need it to sound less good. Like it shouldn't sound like easy and effortless the way Charlie does. Like it should sound like you just got in a fight. Yeah. And so even though she knows that on the cast album, like when they listen to it, they may not know that setup. She's like, I don't really care. Like the important thing is when we hear the song that it feels related to the scene that happened before. And that's great that Viv does that, because it would be very easy for songwriters to be like, no, we want the thing that sounds good. She's like, no, I want the thing that sounds story related.
Now, I want to ask, what would a Hazbin Hotel Broadway show look like in your eyes? And would you guys want to like participate in that and make that happen?
I mean,
8 shows a week.
8 shows a week, baby. I don't know if I want to do 8 shows a week ever again.
The honest, here's the thing.
It's too hard.
I can't sing.
Headline. Amir Talai.
I don't know that I could sing any of the songs that I have sung thus far straight through without getting extra breaths, right? Because like
They're so fast.
It's so fucking fast. It's so fast that in the booth we break it down into chunks because it's like impossible to get every single word out. So then,
I think that's why
imagining doing that 8 times a week,
insane.
Like I can't. So just from a musical standpoint, some of that shit would have to be rewritten.
Some of that shit? Most of that shit. I'm hitting fucking high G's up there. I'm like, hell no, I don't want to sing more than anything 8 times a week. It's way too high.
And then I don't know how I would turn into a demon on stage.
Yeah, for me, it's less about, like, it's already so annoying being a female because you have to put on makeup anyway. Just, like, it's so annoying. Like, to paint my face white, I'm like, I don't want to be, I've seen the Elphabas. Like, they have green behind their ears for, like, months after. I was like, I don't want to paint my face white. So here's the thing. Do I think a stage version of Hazbin exists? In some capacity, yes. I feel like at that point, we will have been attached to the project for so long. It might be time for, like, kind of what, like, the Harry Potter HBO series is doing, where they're like, we can let Daniel Radcliffe take a knee, and we'll hire a new cast.
Right. Yeah.
But, you know,
And
not
here,
for a while.
Look, I see the kids wear their cosplays to to the conventions. That shit looks exhausting.
Yeah, exhausting. They are sweating. They are sweating. But we would love to sing the music live. That is a thing that we do enjoy.
Curious, what are your vocal ranges?
C, probably C to C, I guess. Yeah, low C to high C.
Nice.
The limit does not exist. No. What is my range?
4 octaves. Come on.
This is how I do it. I tell in Les Mis when she sings "But the dragons and as they tear your hope apart." That's the lowest note I can sing. I know the lowest note I can sing based on when I've had to sing it. I think it's the F below middle C, and the highest note I can sing is the thing she hits at the end of Music of the Night and Phantom of the Opera.
Nice.
So whatever that is.
That's like 80.
But it's like, I don't like sit. I'm just like, what songs can I actually do? I'm like, I can sing I'm Not That Girl from Wicked and Music of the Night.
She asked once and she didn't.
Yes! Ask away.
So the nice thing about animation is you have the freedom to say and do versus to a live action show or movie. So what's one of the characters that you would kind of like love to have some of his characteristics? I personally like Angel Dust and how he's like do zero fucks and just like this is who I am and confident.
Uh-huh.
I mean, I would love to have some Angel Dust.
I would love to have like the lack of fucks of like Adam or Blitz. Do you know what I mean? Just like pure fucking id.
Yeah, I feel like
that seems so fun.
I feel like when right, because you're so right. Like Alastar's like he doesn't give a fuck, but he's contained. He's very deliberate with what he says and how he says it. Whereas like a character, and I think kind of Charlie is too when she's not excited. Like she's like trying to do the right thing.
Sure.
Adam, I think getting to play Adam in the booth would just be so fun. Like yeah, exactly. Like so fun because like it doesn't. It's like word vomit. He just says whatever the fuck is on his mind and is like, I don't care if it's offensive, I don't care if it makes you upset. It's like getting to let your worst impulse come to the surface. And that usually ends up in an episode. That's what, yeah. Thank you.
What else? Are we done?
I'm Russ, by the way. I never say my name.
Hello.
I usually do.
Hello. Yes. What are all your names?
Nancy.
Hi, Nancy. Russ.
Russ from the direct.
Rudy. Nice to meet you all. Thank you. Enjoy these fuckers.
You know what? I hope I don't have to hold my breath because I don't think that's going to happen.
That was actually my question. Can you hold your breath?
Yes.
It depends on how much weed is in there.
Yes.
So I'm curious. I'm a recovering musical theater actor myself.
Yes.
So I'm curious about the songs and the musical process. What is that musical process like for you guys with the songs? Like, when you get them, like, allowed flourishes or you're allowed?
So my dream was always to be a musical theater actor. I actually started as a musical theater, as a kid actor, and Equity was my first union, and I always thought that's what I was going to do. Then my voice never changed, so that wasn't the best thing for my musical theater career.
And then my voice didn't change.
Bells on. Yes, bells on. At last we see each other plain. I love the musical part of it. It's one of the reasons I wanted to do the show is because I knew both shows were going to be musical. And I've gotten to do songs, and I've gotten to do songs with like Broadway stars. So that's like, I'm like a fanboy when it comes to that. The process is amazing because Sam and Andrew, our writer on Hazbin, and we have other writers as well on Helluva, are so amazingly talented, and they put these songs out so quickly, and each one is so different. And so I always sit in on the recording session of the music because I direct the show voice-wise, but I'm also there to make sure that the voice doesn't come, the character doesn't disappear in the song. Like we have to keep Alastar's voice in the musical thing, etc. Brandon and I have a duet.
We do. We sing. That's actually the only time since the pilot we've worked in the booth with each other, and one of the only times in the show that's ever happened with any actors. We are usually very separate. We recorded together. Because it was. I don't want to. I can't spoil it. It was a scene that we had to have recorded it together,
or it wouldn't work,
or it would not have worked. So that was a very rare instance. I don't think I've ever done anything with anyone else for the show in the booth with another actor. I think that was the only time.
We did our pilot.
The
the
pilot,
old
yeah.
pilot, not the new
That
one.
was back when we thought the show wasn't going anywhere. We were killing kids left and right.
Yeah, that's just a vanity project.
It was a vanity
just YouTube.
project.
Who watches YouTube?
Yeah.
What is a YouTube?
What's a YouTube? The YouTube. That's what I call it. It's on the YouTube.
Well,
There's a butthole shaving video on YouTube.
Yeah, well,
Have you seen it?
I have not seen
It's
it,
called
no.
Hazbin Hotel. Oh,
Hasbrown Hotel.
Hasbrown Hotel. Yeah.
I'm Russ Milheim from the Directors. Good to talk to both of you.
Hello.
I've been asking a lot about what a Hazbin Hotel Broadway would look like, but what does a Helluva Boss Broadway look like?
Oh, the audience is going to be covered in blood by the end of this.
And would you guys do that?
Yes, because given my youth, I could get away with like red makeup and no one would know that I was 38 years old.
Yes. Let's
Yes.
go with 38.
Yes. I would love that.
Yeah, well, I mean, Richard and I would love it, mainly because we don't say no to anything.
Yes.
And, but also, we both come from, like, I started acting on a stage. Richard, we're both stage babies. And when you're a stage baby, no matter what you identify as later in this industry, screen actor, voice actor, whatever it is, you'll always be a stage baby. It's something in the blood. It's something, and most of the cast of Hazbin are real stage babies. You can tell it feels like doing like a theater sleepover or something every time we're with each other. And it kind of is, because they just throw us in the same hotel and give us alcohol and say, don't be crazy.
Oh yes, that's true.
It's a biter.
Yeah. I'm a biter. BITER.
Very good.
Thank you.
Yeah.
But I would love to see that.
That'd be great.
I would love that. I would be there in a heartbeat. Although 8 shows a week
That's what they were saying.
is, like Erika, like they are loving they probably told you they're loving the show and getting a break to go to the conventions and stuff, because 8 shows a week is like your total commitment.
Yeah.
At my age, 38,
It looks more like a 37. Huh?
well, I haven't been working. I've been working out.
Yeah.
I think that I could probably do it for maybe a 6-week run would be fine. I could do that, but it's your life when you're like Bryce Pinkham. I went to see him in Little Shop of Horrors when I was in New York 2 years ago. And I waited afterwards to see him because I gotta catch the train back to New Jersey because it's a last train, and I was like, hey, bye, and then I saw him the next morning because I had flown back to LA in the booth on Zoom, and he had just woken up from, and then he had to finish with us and go do the show. But I'd like to give it a shot.
Yeah.
Bryce is actually crazy. I don't know how he's the most busy, and he's also a full-time father and husband, and he does cons every weekend with I just don't know how he does it. He's made of concrete.
Millie, Vivienne Nixon Williams, she's also runs her mom's dance academy.
Oh my God.
Yeah, her mom is Debbie Allen. I don't know if you knew that, but yeah. Her mom's Debbie Allen, and her dad is Norm Nixon of the Lakers, Storm and Norman Nixon.
Yeah.
And so Viv runs that dance academy, records with us, and then goes to conventions with us also. So everyone.
And also has kids and a spouse
3.
to maintain.
And had been on Broadway.
Broadway people are nuts.
That's our general answer. Broadway people are nuts.
Oh, that's the quote.
Yes, the quote.
That's our opener.
Yes.
Well, since you were talking about how you guys are stage babies, that means basically in the booth, you're setting up your own individual stage. How do you prepare for it? What do you bring in?
Coffee.
You know what I've actually been doing?
Yeah, break a heroin.
I've been trying to have phone calls before I go in just to get my voice just buttered. I'll hop on a call on the way to this booth just so when I get there I feel like I'm because I can hear sometimes, even like in my own videos, or if I do a take or something where I woke up maybe a few hours before that, and that's the first time I talked that day. Also, I've been learning vocal warm-ups from Richard, from Erika Lindbeck. I'm learning how to blow bubbles in a straw and a glass. That helps a lot. What do you do to prepare for?
I'm very lucky when I go in to record my stuff because I've been recording. I saved myself for the last person to record that day. So by the time I get to my record session, I've already recorded everybody. I know their reads in my head. So I'm already warmed up because I read in character to whoever I'm recording. So if I'm doing, oh, Blitzy, I'll read it like Stolas to him. And so that's how I warm up.
Who reads? Does anyone read when you're reading? Like,
No, because I know, well, Viv will, like, I'll go down the thing. And
you'll just do your lines.
I'll just do my lines.
Yeah, because you know it front
I know
to back.
backwards and forwards at that point, yeah. That's
Yeah.
why I wait to be the last one to record.
That's. Oh, I'm kind of jealous. I wish I could just like have that. I don't know how you do it. How you and for both shows too. I would have gone ballistic by now.
It's a lot of work. It's a lot of work.
Yeah, it is.
It's paid off, and I think hard work should pay off, and I think Viv and the group, everyone has really put their 150 million percentage into this show.
It's more than
Both
just hard
shows.
work. Like Richard behind the panel, he looks like someone at a NASA like the control station, like because he's talking to like the engineers over here, and he's talking to the actor, he's talking to the writer. Okay, all right. He just all these. I don't. It's insane.
And I'm circling
On that
takes.
aspect, with you as a writer, what's the writer's room like then?
Well, you know, it's funny. We just built an office and we replicated the IMP office. So the writers' room literally is the conference room from the show, and we meet there. We do our Uber Eats, and we have our box of Kleenexes for when scenes get too emotional or too horny, and we really just
Sometimes both.
Sometimes both. Yeah. You need a lot of Kleenex, and not sponsored, by the way. And oh no, it's really just a lot of idea throwing. It's and then we'll take an episode. We'll write it individually, bring it back to the table. We'll all do a group read, and then go down and do suggestions, punch-ups. My main thing is the jokes. Even if I didn't have a hand in writing an episode, I still like to look at all of them just so I can, at least know that, like, okay, this is as funny as it can be, or I think this is hilarious. But it's all we all agree on the same thing. There's never butting heads over a storyline. We all know what's best for the characters.
We were recording 2 days ago, and Brandon was in the middle of the line, and he goes, "You know what? I think this is a funnier ending." And then we just record it because, like on the one we did 2 days ago.
Yeah. There was. That one was nice though, because Adam, the one who wrote that episode, he gave us alts, and alts are always fun. But sometimes when you do the alts, you know which alt it's going to be. Sometimes you're like, that's the version you're going to want.
I want to squeeze in one last question for you guys. I know you can't say much about Helluva Boss season 3.
Yes.
But vaguely, what can you tease about, what you were able to do with your character that we've never really seen before in those upcoming episodes when we get to experience them?
Blitz's story, the show is going to be 4 seasons, and Blitz's story arc, a lot of our story arcs traverse those 4 seasons, right? So, season 3, that's like in any story, that's like beginning of the third act. That's when things are really starting to get intense.
Yeah.
And I can say that, like, if we look at all 4 seasons of the show as one collective story, season 3 is like seasons 1 and 2 were just setting up the bowling pins for what's going to happen in season 3, and I'm very excited to see how audiences react to it. It's one that I think hits on all 6 cylinders. Compared to season 2, I think it's more dramatic, more funny, more everything. It's just
I think in both shows, in Helluva and Hazbin, season 3 is the pinnacle seasons of the shows, of both shows.
You know more about. I only know Katie Killjoy's scenes, so
I know.
I don't know what happens outside.
He's like, in fact, he wants to call it. He doesn't even like calling it Hazbin Hotel. He likes to call it the Katie Killjoy show.
Yeah, the Katie Killjoy breaking the news and breaking those bras.
Yeah, Hazbin. Yeah, he doesn't call it Hazbin.
No, I thought it was the Katie Killjoy
The Katie Killjoy.
It really
exactly.
is.
Yeah,
it really is. Oh my God. Well, I hope so. I love Katie playing. I want a scene where she falls in the water because I know she's buoyant. And I know she'll survive. I'm excited about season 3. I really don't know much about it, so I'm excited.
You might not know. There's some unique shorts. So the shorts that keep it
Yes.
really great. More of those, maybe.
So we're definitely gonna have more of those. We'll have enough to keep people satiated until we get to season 3.
They're fun, and recording them is kind of fun too, because it's like a quick episode. Like, all right, let's do the next one. You can do a bunch of them.
Yeah, it's just like a step away from our storyline a little bit.
Yeah.
So,
Thank you so much.
Thank you.